right, thank you for tuning in to today's episode. And I'm not even going to try to say which episode we're on because I lost track and I need to get back on track with it. But we have a very special guest on today, and I hope that you guys enjoyed this episode. My brother has come all the way here from Ohio, my brother John, my little big brother. He's the baby of the family. Out of 13, he's the youngest. And what are you, 6'2"?
No, not quite.
6.
I appreciate you.
I always tell everybody you're 6 foot because you're like 6 foot compared to me.
I appreciate you trying to inflate me, but I'm just under 5'11".
Oh, okay. Well, all you who have told that I have a 6 foot brother, you'll have to forgive me for that. I actually legitimately thought you were 6 foot. Because isn't Mose almost?
Yeah, I think he's maybe a tad taller than I am.
Yeah, that's our oldest brother is Mosey. And along with John, I got my very own oldest son here with me, Trace, who's done an incredible job asking me questions in the past. And so I figured maybe he could ask some questions to Uncle John as well. So we're gonna get right into it. We're gonna talk about John's background, us growing up, and some of the lessons we learned. We're gonna cover what John's doing on YouTube, and so please stick around for that, and make sure that you hit that like and subscribe button on this channel and share it with the people that you may know that might be interested in this podcast. We appreciate that. We appreciate all the shares that you guys have done and all the people that have tuned in. And so we're rapidly growing on YouTube and TikTok, Facebook, and all those other places. So we appreciate all the support. One of the things that I wanted to talk about was the fact that you came all the way here from Ohio and we didn't pay you to come. Why would you do that?
Well, because you're my brother.
And I gotta have a good dinner tonight from Mom.
He's gonna have a good
I think she's marinating chicken and gonna cook it.
That sounds delicious.
Yeah. Mom makes some good food, doesn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, we appreciate you doing that. I guess we can get into your experience growing up and what it was like to be in the house with me growing up. So you can just start from as young as you can remember. Early memories of us growing up together.
Probably some of the earliest memories I remember would be like probably 5-6 years old. We'd always, the biggest highlight that I remember was in the wintertime. We'd always have the sleds. It was pretty much all downhill to the barn. We'd always ride the sleds under the fence down to the barn, all the way from the house. And then we'd always dread the long walk back up.
So for those of you that had the bringing up of having an uphill both ways to school, we had uphill from the barn to the house and up and downhill to school in the wintertime. But you remember, our schoolhouse was on the same property as the farm for a long time until we were 6th grade. I think I was in 6th grade or...
Yeah, that'd be right, because if I remember correctly, I was in 5th grade, or I would have been the summer after, or we moved after I graduated 5th grade.
Gotcha.
So.
You remember going to school when it was 10 below? Do you remember that?
No.
Oh, I remember that.
I remember going to school when it was cold, but I don't know if we had 10 below.
I remember going to school and getting to the schoolhouse, and it was so cold that we would sit around the stove deciding if we want to actually get into lessons or not, or go back home. And that
I
happened.
do remember that a couple times.
Yeah, that was brutally cold. But usually at the like 10 below point, that's when they kind of cut it off. Like it was 10 below and windy, then we wouldn't go to school at all, because everything would just freeze and it would be difficult to stay warm in the schoolhouse.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're talking about sledding. There's some stories about sledding down to the barn. You remember those 2 posts that we used to have to go in between in order to make it all the way down to the barn? The fence?
For the gate?
No, like right at the bottom of the steep hill going down, there were 2 posts you had to go in between. You ever remember hitting those?
I don't remember. I think I remember hitting the boards or fence, board fence.
Yeah, because it was a wood fence.
Yeah.
And you'd hit the boards. I remember crashing into those posts many times. And once that I remember getting a really bloody nose from it.
I might have hit it once or twice, but I don't know.
So, do you have any questions that you want to ask Uncle John?
Yeah, so, like, did you and Dad squabble a lot?
Squabble?
Like, fight?
Yeah, we had our fair amount of squabbles.
Oh, yeah, we sure did. You want to expand on that? I'm sure you got one that sticks out.
Well, one that comes to mind immediately was, I don't know, I was probably 13, something like that. And I was always stronger than you, but you were quicker than me, so you'd always try to get me in a headlock. Well, about 13 years old, I got strong enough to where I could just pick you up and body slam you.
Yep.
And sure enough, we were wrestling, and you put me in a headlock, so I just stood up and slammed you against the wall. Then you let loose.
Yeah.
I think I almost knocked you out there.
Yeah, and you were seriously strong. You just weren't very fast in wrestling.
Yeah.
It's funny that you bring that headlock up, because I have a friend of mine who was actually on the podcast. His name's Mitch. And him and I were doing jiu-jitsu together. And the first thing I did was get him in a headlock. And I would not let go. Locked him in. Eventually, though, I did wear out. Like, I didn't have any more strength. And, yeah, it didn't take long until I had to tap, because he had me hurting. And he definitely has a lot of moves that I can't go against. Or I don't know how to defend myself against.
Yeah.
And so it's scary to get in a wrestling match with him. But I remember once, and I was always the negotiator between us two, I think, for the most part. And you were like I'm not going to do that, or I am going to do that. Like, one of the two. It was, and if you weren't going to do it, it was almost impossible to get you to do something. And so that was fun. And I remember one time I don't know if you remember this, me sharing this story, but we were like in this fight about something. I think it was chores that we were supposed to do. Because that's usually how we ended up fighting, because one has to do more than the other. And apparently I did something, and there's very few times that I remember, like, legitimately being scared of you. And I did something to where you got mad at me. And I thought, is he, like, for real mad, or is he, like, the kind of mad that he's going to calm down? Because usually you'd calm down after a little while, and all of a sudden you came charging after me with a shovel. And I thought, oh no, this is not going anywhere good. I took off running. That was usually my way out. But I'm sure I would have deserved every little bit of beating I got from you. But usually I was fast enough to outrun you. And we talked about running through the barnyard too. I don't know if you saw that episode, but we talked about running through the barnyard whenever we needed to get away from somebody.
Yeah.
Because it was so muddy.
Yeah. It was really deep and muddy, and so.
Yeah, I remember losing my boots multiple times in the barnyard or out in the yard.
Yeah. So. What are you doing right now for work?
Framing.
You're framing houses?
Yep.
Okay. You enjoy that?
Yes. And no.
Yes and no?
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things where you don't really have a future, I feel like. Or I feel like I don't really have a future in it. Because there's other things I want to do, and I don't know, I've been working a lot lately and kind of getting burned out. That's probably part of it.
Yeah. But that's a super valuable skill to have, though. Framing and being able to build a house.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people would pay a lot of money for that skill.
Especially Amish builder.
The Amish builder. So what's the so you're the laborer on the crew right now. Yeah. You guys actually go out with a bunch of guys. Are you the foreman for the crew?
Yeah.
So you're on the crew? Gotcha.
Yeah, so basically if the boss ain't there, I'm running the crew. And I don't know.
Run nail guns and saws and...
Yeah, just basically make sure that you mark everything off correctly according to the print.
Yeah. So you guys build houses for... What are some of the popular builders that you built for?
Mainly for Wayne Homes.
Wayne Homes?
Yeah.
In Ohio?
Yeah.
So if you're listening from Ohio and you need a good quality Amish built home, Wayne Homes. John will be your framer. Or you just hire him directly.
Yeah, they might frown on that.
Well, they didn't sponsor this video. So.
Wayne Homes, you better fork over some money.
Yeah. Yeah, you got another question?
So what gun have you mostly had recently on your channel?
What gun?
Is it a pistol or rifle, and what kind?
Pistol. Probably my favorite of this year would be the Ross Martin MR1C. So I've had quite a few pistols that I reviewed this year that have been a little bit of a disappointment, to say the least.
Yeah.
But I mostly see your pistols in your channel.
Yeah, I don't do a whole lot of rifle reviews. Although those have been the ones that do really good. I don't know why I don't.
Well, I know why. It's pretty simple. That's what the audience likes. You should do more.
No, I mean, I don't know why I don't do more rifle reviews.
Gotcha. Yeah, maybe you should start. So, what Trace is talking about is John actually has his own YouTube channel. Yeah, we're gonna get into that. But it's called Patriot Arms, and it's pulled up on the screen here if you can see it. I don't know if you can see it. Looks kind of far away. But anyway, you can check it out on YouTube if you'd like to check out his channel and help him. He's trying to up his subscriber base, and so go ahead and check it out. If it's something you like, subscribe to his channel as well. He does a lot of gun reviews, and you can go into more detail about that. But
yeah, so basically, if you're in the market for a budget pistol or whatever, there's a good chance that it's on my channel, and nobody pays me, which it doesn't matter if anybody pays me for reviews or not, but if it's on my channel, you can guarantee that it's my honest opinion on it. And I don't edit out malfunctions and stuff, so what you see is what the gun has done for me. And you know, I'm not one of those people that I don't know, beats around the bush about the honest or how the gun is functioning and stuff. So
Yeah, you give them honest feedback on how it operates, and then people can decide for themselves.
yeah,
what they want to do.
that's yeah. The general thumb of it.
Yeah. So do you like buy these guns and use them, or you borrow them from friends and you use them, or like how do you get all these different guns?
Some of them I've borrowed, but the majority of them I buy.
Oh, okay.
So
you got a nice collection of guns. Nobody should be coming around your house in the middle of the night.
Yeah, I always make the joke that I lock my door to protect the thief, not to protect me.
Yeah, that's good. So, but you do a lot of shooting too.
Yeah.
So it's you shooting you shooting the gun on the channel to show how it operates and kind of what the pros and cons are of that particular weapon.
Yeah, that's. I'm starting to get more into like accessories like red dots and stuff like that.
There's a shooting video.
Yeah, that was one of my most recent ones.
That doesn't even look like you.
Yeah, the sun was kind of bright on that one. That one's my brother-in-law's.
Oh, okay.
A revolver right there. But
yeah, so going from Amish to YouTube famous doing gun reviews, what's that been like? Because what got you started in the YouTube channel?
Well, I don't know. I've always loved guns. I've always been into hunting. Like growing up, anytime as young as I can remember, whether it was the BB gun or the 22. I remember many times sneaking the 22 out of the house and going hunting with it. Going to the neighbor's woods, squirrel hunting and stuff. And just I've always been into shooting guns at a very young age, hunting. And then I moved to Ohio and didn't really have a place to shoot guns for a while, so I kind of got away from it a little bit, got into music and playing guitar and stuff like that. And then I became friends with some people that had land that they could shoot on, so basically that got me back into guns and stuff. And
oh, okay.
I have been thinking about doing the whole YouTube thing for probably 2 years before I actually started. But the main YouTubers I was watching at the time, like Demo Ranch and Classic Firearms and Brandon Herrera, Kentucky Ballistics, like those guys, I was like, well, I don't have the money to pay a camera guy to record and do all the fancy editing and stuff. And so I was like, I can't do that. So I don't know. And then a couple of years pass and keep seeing all these smaller YouTube channels just doing simple stuff with their phones and stuff like that. Nothing fancy, kind of more reality stuff. And that's kind of what gave me the idea. I'm like, oh, well, I could do that. So, and I always, at least 2-3 times a month, I'd go shooting. So I'm like, I may as well just set the camera up and record it and post it on YouTube.
Yeah. That's good.
So that's how I got started on doing it, and I got spoiled early on. I don't know, probably 2 months into it, I posted a shorts video that really took off, and got me a bunch of subscribers, and then that kind of motivated me to keep going. And when I first started, I was like, I'll do it for a year, kind of be steady, do it, or keep up on it, whatever.
Post videos?
Yeah, post consistently, I should say.
Gotcha.
Post videos consistently for a year and see what happens. And, I was, I think 6 months into it, I was at 500, which was more than my goal for a year, so.
That's good. That's great. You have a question?
Yeah. So, my cousin Lincoln is only like 7 and about to turn 8, and he has his own .22 rifle. And he shoots that thing. Like, he's only 7, right? Turning 8 this year, I think.
Yeah, I don't know for sure.
Like, that thing's maybe about up to here.
Yeah, it's pretty small.
Are you trying to tell your dad something?
What do you mean?
Are you trying to say you want a rifle too?
A little bit, but that's a little bit dangerous for having it at that age.
What do you have?
I have a BB gun.
You have a BB gun?
You know the best gun safety rule?
What?
The best safety on a gun is your trigger finger.
My trigger finger is this finger.
Keep your finger off the trigger.
Until you're ready to shoot.
Yep, until you're ready to shoot.
You know the 5 gun safety rules?
Not all.
Your dad hasn't taught you the safety rules of 5 rules of.
I know some of them, like maybe how to carry your gun and then to turn your safety off. To leave your safety off until you're ready to shoot something.
Leave the safety on.
I mean on. I get the on mixed up.
So, number 1 rule of a firearm is to always treat your gun as if it was loaded until you know otherwise. Even if you see somebody checking a gun and saying it's empty and they hand it to you, you always want to check it again, make sure it's empty.
Oh, I think that's taught me that before too, I think. Haven't you?
Yep.
And number 2, you want to, second rule of gun safety is know where your target is and what's beyond your target. Well, actually, no, that's not the second one, but that second one is never point a gun at something that you're not willing to destroy.
Oh.
And always know what's beyond your target. Like behind your target.
Oh, yeah, I think that's taught me that, haven't you?
Yeah.
Like when I'm shooting at birds, you're like, get it at the right angle where you're not, where if you miss, you're not going to hit the house or something important.
Yep.
And number 3? What's number 3?
Oh.
Come on, John. You didn't know these things.
Okay.
5 rules. People are listening and they want to know.
Let me think. I'm drawing a blank right now, so. Always treat your gun as if it was loaded. Always know never point a gun at anything you're not willing to destroy. And always know always have positive identity of your target and what's beyond it. And drawing a blank on the last two.
It's the one to keep your finger off the trigger?
That's kind of plays into all of it, but yeah.
Well, yeah, and then check your safety. I mean, that's another one. Even after you shoot. Always check your safety.
Every time I shoot, I put it back and do this to the safety. Click and turn the safety on.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, that's great. So, you've been making videos. So anybody listening that's been procrastinating making videos, what would you tell them?
I would tell whatever you're trying to get into, whether it's guns, just whatever. Hit record. I mean, when I was looking into it, basically checking into how to do YouTube or whatever, and to be successful, the couple of things that I kept seeing was just hit record. If you're gonna if you're waiting for the perfect time, you're never gonna hit record or never gonna start. And second is post consistently, whether it's 1, 2, 3 videos a week. I would say if you're starting out, I would say post at least every other day. Because I noticed, I was at 800 or 900 subscribers when I started. I was very, very strict on when I was posting starting out. And I was posting 2 shorts a week, and then I started doing long forms. So I was doing 2 shorts. I'd always do it on the same day every week, Sundays and Wednesdays, and then Fridays I'd post a long form. And I was at about 800 or so subscribers, and I was like, I'm going to try something new and just start posting more, or shorts videos pretty much every day.
Yeah.
And that's when my channel started blowing up.
Oh, okay.
I went, I don't know, it's just, I think it's, what the problem I was running into, if you're only posting 2 videos a week and you have one that doesn't do good or just flops for whatever reason, then you're going 3-4 days or basically a whole week without having much activity on your channel.
Yeah.
So if you're posting one every day or every other day, and you have 1 or 2 that don't do well, you still have a couple that are probably going to do better.
Gotcha.
So you're still going to have more of a steady activity on your YouTube, and the algorithm likes that, I guess. So
yeah.
Because I went from which during the summer you're probably, and that's another thing, if your views and subscribers and stuff all go down during the summer, don't get disappointed, because every YouTuber that I have heard talk about it says that their subscribers go down, or their views dip during the summer after school gets out.
Gotcha.
And so basically from June to September, your channel's going to slow down probably. I mean, I hope it doesn't happen this year, but
yeah,
that's what happened to me last year, and I was kind of getting discouraged. I'd have maybe 1 or 2 videos a month that kind of did okay, but I had a bunch of them that were not doing too good, and I was kind of getting discouraged. But then that's part of the reason why I decided to post more often, and that really helped, I think.
Gotcha.
But, kind of do whatever makes sense to you, and just gotta basically figure out what works for you.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's what's been interesting watching your channel and just like how fast it, especially when you hit 1,000 subscribers, like how fast it grew from there, and but you've been super consistent over a course of what, a year and a half now.
Yeah, end of February was a year.
Gotcha.
So I hit. I was hoping I'd hit 1,000. After I hit 500 in November, I was like, well, maybe I can hit 1,000 by 1 year, but I didn't quite make it.
Gotcha.
But I think middle of March is when I hit 1,000. And as of what is today, Thursday, May 16th.
Yeah,
May 16th. As of today, I'm at 1950. So from middle of March to middle of May, 2 months.
Yeah.
Almost doubled what I did in about a year.
Yeah, that's wild. You have another question?
Yeah, so I like that we got into this because, like, the YouTube channel thing, I'm trying to start one, but, like, I've only had, like, 3 videos, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we just we aren't having the time to do more. Well, I could do more, but my camera, like, just went black. And why I like hearing this is because, like, doing at least 1, 2, or 3 times a week would be good for me because, like, Dad doesn't have a lot of time to do any videos with me because he comes home so late sometimes. So, like, if I can get my camera working, I'd probably at least do 2 videos a week.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
I'm excited for your channel to start up. And we've announced it, but we haven't posted any videos, have we? Need to teach you how to edit so we can get some of the videos out that you've already made.
Tell your dad you need one of his old phones so you can record and edit and stuff.
Before I had my camera, we did use this old work phone.
Yeah, we have an old phone that you could use if we can get it working. But
I think it's still working somewhere.
Yeah.
I mean, it's somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. I think it's just consistent. But when you were Amish, did you ever think that you would be a YouTuber?
No. I didn't know what YouTube was.
What did you? Because there's a kid on YouTube now. I don't know if you know him, but be Shorty Byler's son. He's on YouTube, like dressed up as an Amish kid.
I mean, I know who you're talking about, but no,
He said he's an Amish YouTuber. like there is no such thing. I mean, like there's no such thing as in like the Amish are not YouTubers. Like a legit Amish person, if you're Amish, you're not on YouTube.
If you're following the rules, you don't have a phone. You don't.
No, there's some that are maybe no longer Amish, and they're maybe like they're still dressed as Amish, and they're on YouTube. That's why we're on YouTube, because we're no longer Amish, but obviously we grew up that way. I grew up that way until I was 19. How old? You were like 18? 17 when you left, yeah, because he left, I think it was a week before I was gonna leave, and then I ended up staying for another 2 years. 3 years.
Botched your plan.
Yeah, the way it works is you don't tell anybody in your family, and I'm sure if you've been listening to the channel, you know this, but you don't tell anybody in your family that you're gonna leave. You just leave a note behind, or normally you wouldn't, because you're afraid that somebody's gonna find out that you're leaving. And so I had made plans to leave on a Saturday night, I think. Didn't you leave on a Friday night? Or did you leave on
Thursday?
You left on a Thursday night. I was planning on leaving Saturday night, and I had no idea he was leaving. And we were the only two at home still. And so he went and left on a Thursday night, and so I felt bad for Mom and Dad. I couldn't leave after that. I got to at least wait a while.
Yeah, you waited a while, but you were still driving a car.
Yeah, I did get my license when I was Amish, and you're not supposed to do that. And I bought my first car when I was still Amish.
I remember driving that thing.
Why, like, when you say you're leaving, like, Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, like, why do you leave in the night?
That's a great question. I'm sure a lot of people are thankful that you asked that question.
Because I heard that some of your brothers and sisters, like, left at midnight through a window of the
so the Amish
house.
So the Amish, and thank you for asking that question. So the Amish, they leave in the middle of the night because, well, you're going to be walking somewhere, and somebody's going to be picking you up. And the way you do that, because normally you don't have a cell phone, and you don't have a really good way to communicate. Nowadays, a lot of the youth have cell phones, and they just keep them hidden from their parents. But when we were kids and we were leaving, we didn't have, I guess I had a cell phone. I don't know if you had one.
I had one too.
But it was not a smartphone.
No.
And so you would make arrangements with...
Smartphones weren't a thing back then.
It was before the BlackBerry era.
Well...
It was right during the time. I
remember Susan had the BlackBerry.
Yeah.
And that was like right around the same time I left.
Yeah. But anyway, you make arrangements with someone to pick you up, and you want to make sure that nobody sees you leaving. So you normally do it at night while it's dark. And the reason why you're leaving is because, well, if your parents found out, they try to talk you into staying, and it's a thing where you just want to get out. And so you leave in the middle of the night so somebody can pick you up and nobody else sees you leaving. And they don't see who picks you up. That's the big thing. We don't want to get other people in trouble.
When I left, I had some... I never really hung out that much with the Amish youth after I turned 16 or whatever, 16 and a half. I worked with an ex-Amish kid, and he'd always pick me up on the weekends, and we'd go booze cruising and stuff.
Who's that? Who was?
Hoss. Andy.
Oh, yes. I remember. Shout out to Andy Yoder.
And we'd always... He had a couple friends, and he'd always pick me up, and we'd go pick his friends up and go booze cruising. And so I never really hung out with the Amish youth that much. I think I went to like 2 singings or whatever you call them.
Oh, okay.
And, the one was only because it was at our house. So the first one I went to was the weekend after I turned 16 and a half. And then the other one was when it was at our house.
Yeah.
And so that's not very typical for if you're 16 and a half to not go hang out with the Amish youth and not go to singings, because that's where all the partying happens and stuff.
Yeah. Well, I feel like we weren't very, we weren't the traditional Amish family, I wouldn't say. I mean, in a lot of ways we were, but not, I guess not in some ways, like as far as fitting in. We didn't fit in like the rest, or like a lot of them did.
Well, I think that's part of Mom and Dad's, it's part of like the experience Mom and Dad had when they were younger with the 3 oldest boys.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's part of the reason why, like, after we left, we were we were welcomed to come back home and visit and stuff. Like, I mean, our cousins, which,
Roman was on, yeah.
Roman was on here. Like, they weren't allowed to come back. for a long time to visit.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I think too it probably had something to do with, well, us being allowed to come back home. I think it had something to do with mom and dad having lost the three oldest brothers. So yeah, that experience for them was, I'm sure that was quite. I mean, I can't imagine what it was like for them to go through that.
yeah.
I mean, obviously we weren't born yet, so we weren't there to witness it or anything. But yeah, you got a question?
Yeah, so Lavina's mom and dad went, like, your brother Emery, which is her dad, they didn't want her coming back for a while your mom and dad let you guys come back to them, like, to visit, and they didn't let her visit for a long time from what I heard.
Who's Lavina?
Well, she was on here, and she's the editor of the podcast.
Well, thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I mean, there are definitely still a lot of them that wouldn't let their kids come back.
Yeah.
Or wouldn't allow them to come back.
Yeah. I guess Embry was always a little bit more of the outcast until recently, like very strict.
Yeah. Maybe someday we'll have him on the podcast.
Wouldn't that be something?
Yeah, he'd be in here with his Amish beard, and everybody gets to see what an Amish person really looks
what
like.
the real Amish people look like.
I'm trying to grow out my beard.
Maybe I should have let mine. Maybe I should.
Yeah, you got something. You got something going on, except the mustache. You can't have that in the Amish.
I cut at least a half inch.
Mustache.
I cut at least a half inch off last weekend. Maybe I should have kept it.
Yeah, I guess that's a great thing to go into. The Amish aren't really supposed to cut their beard.
No, they're not.
At all.
A lot of them anymore do, but, well, depending on, like, the Swartzen Trooper Amish I don't think really do, but because they'll get in trouble for cutting their beards.
Yep.
Or for trimming them, but a lot of the other churches, like in Ohio, there's a lot of them that, like the Old Order and New Order, and I think even some of the Danners do it, trim their beards.
Yeah.
Especially if they're not married. Like, if they join church and, like, they're expected to trim their beard. Like, they're expected to grow a beard, but probably no longer in this.
Oh, okay.
To keep it trimmed.
Huh.
Yeah, that's kind of weird, but... And then after you get married, you're supposed to let it grow, I guess. But yeah, a lot of the Old Order, New Order Amish in Ohio, like, they trim their beards, and I don't know, like, what their rules are exactly on that, but they're to the point where they may as well not even be Amish because they got solar panels and some of them got electric, and the house might not be completely wired, but they got power run to the basement to run their freezer and fridge.
Yeah.
Stuff, and charge their battery packs. Solar panels on the roof.
Yeah, some of them don't even, some of the not the way we grew up, but some of the Old Order, they don't even have buggies anymore.
Yeah.
They just ride around in cars with other people.
Or they'll drive their tractor down the road.
Yeah. Or their electric bike.
Yeah, e-bikes, golf carts. They gear them up. And...
In Ohio, mostly they drive golf carts when I see Amish people. Like, if they aren't riding electric bikes or buggies, I see go-karts. Like my grandma from mom's side of the family, like, she has a go-kart, right?
Go-kart or golf cart?
I mean, a golf go-kart would be fun to watch on this, right? Like,
Yeah, that would be fun.
So what's their rules on that as far as like a lot of them drive golf carts, but they don't really drive gators and like the gas engine ones, like
Yeah, I think if it's, I mean, I guess they
battery
can,
powered, maybe.
mostly it's not for everybody. I mean, they would have, older people or people that have a hard time getting around.
Mm.
I think it's kind of how they draw the line on that. Because mostly you'll see older people driving around in a golf carts. It's kind of pre-approved through the church, I think. So, oh yeah, this person has an issue, which is actually it's interesting that they do that because I mean this is just I guess my perspective from the outside looking in. I wasn't a part of the old order church, but I think from what I've seen over the years, I believe that's how they do it. Like if somebody has an issue with getting around, they would allow them to have a golf cart. But I think that's a great way to do it if you're going to bend the rules or change the rules or whatever. But
yeah, I know I think it's old order, or might even be new order as well, but like some of those churches, they'll allow, like if somebody has a health issue that they need like a oxygen or whatever, they're on medicine that needs to be refrigerated and stuff, they're allowed to like run power to their basement or to like somewhere in the house.
Gotcha. Which would make sense. That would make sense. And I feel like the old order have a lot more common sense than the way we grew up.
Yeah.
For us, they're just gonna die. Sorry, we can't have power. Like,
or better hope you got an English neighbor close by.
Run a long extension cord from the neighbor.
Or walk to the neighbor every day.
So when Grandma married your mom and Mom's mom, my mom's mom, why do they both have like Grandma Mary had like after all of you guys left and she was older and you had us, like she and Grandpa got a house that had electric in it, didn't she?
Yes, she did. That's a great question.
And so did Grandma Mary. I mean Katie.
Well, Grandma Katie just ran power to her house. Yep. But they were both. You realize that Grandma Mary was no longer Amish, right?
Oh no, I thought they were both Amish.
No, well, they kind of dress Amish, but they're not following the rules anymore. They go to a different church.
They had a bathtub and stuff.
Yeah, they had a shower and all of that stuff. So they had a lot of things that we were not allowed to have when we were kids. We could only wish we would have had that stuff when we were kids.
Right? We were only wishing we could have had power in our bedrooms.
Yeah, no kidding.
Have any trucks or stuff like that I like.
Yeah, you're talking about toys. So the toys that we were allowed to have as Amish kids were not supposed to be like worldly toys. Do you remember that? Like we couldn't have trucks or tractors or little dump trucks.
Unless they were made out of wood.
They were hand carved out of wood. No, I think we had some trains that were made out of wood.
Yeah.
But that was about the extent of it.
We had some other ones, or a train and a track that were battery powered, but we weren't allowed to put batteries in them. So every time Mom and Dad would leave, we'd set it up and put batteries in.
Yeah, because it was a little too worldly. So shout out to our friends that used to bring us toys. Yeah. Thank you for doing that. You guys know who you are if you're listening. And if you're close to an Amish community and you want to bless their families, like that's a huge way that you can be a blessing. I mean, they find out what they're allowed to have and then give them that.
Yeah.
Because especially the Swartz and True Amish, they are normally not very they're not very financially stable, and they have a lot of kids, and so they definitely appreciate anything that people bring by.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, like I was young enough to where I didn't really notice that much about mom and dad not having money, but just hearing the older ones talk about how poor mom and dad were, which if you think about it, we always ate good as far as we never went hungry, but that's because we had chickens, we had cows, we had pigs, we had everything we needed to be self-sufficient. And mom would have to go to the store and buy baking powder or whatever they call that to make bread,
flour and sugars and stuff like that.
Yeah, flour, sugar stuff to bake bread and stuff. I remember mom making noodles. She'd clean off the dinner table and the whole table was she'd make noodles from scratch and the whole table was covered in noodles.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember those days. She did a lot of baking from scratch.
Yeah.
And I agree. I did share on one episode, I think on one of the episodes, maybe it was just to some friends. I remember as a kid when I was maybe 3, 4, possibly 5. I remember we pretty much were out of food at one point in time. It was shortly after we had a house fire and things were pretty rough that winter. And I remember going into the pantry and there's nothing to eat. And you go down to the basement and there's maybe some cans of old canned stuff that you didn't dare to open because you didn't know if it was still good or not. But that's the low. I feel like that was the kind of the lowest point of survival, so to speak.
Yeah.
But,
well, we didn't, mom and dad did, we didn't go to the store and buy a hamburger.
Yeah.
We always bought a cow, and if we had a cow that would be old or ill, we butcher it.
Yeah, we didn't name our cows. They were not pets. Yep. And for those of you that are listening that don't know where hamburger comes from, that's where hamburger comes from, right there.
Yep. And for those of you who think that milking a cow is torture, or are you killing a cow for milking them? That's, if you don't milk a cow, it's probably going to get sicker than it would if you milk it.
Yeah.
That's true.
So, you've milked a cow, didn't you?
Just a little bit, not a lot. Sometimes you let me or Mom will let me do.
What's it like?
Well, it's really hard. And also, when we did chores, whirling, sometimes, snow was in the air and there's snow on the ground, and Mom and I would go down to do chores. She'd get the cow ready to milk. I'd do my chores, and then she'd let me milk a little bit sometimes.
Okay, how do you milk a cow?
So you get a bucket, a gallon bucket, and then well, first of all, the cow has to be a milking cow, which would be a female cow. You can't milk.
Great clarification. Good job.
Only milk female cow.
That's awesome. Some people were confused until you clarified that. I'm telling you, I'm serious.
That's a joke we used to make.
Yep.
About the city slickers. Tell them to go milk a bull.
Yeah. Go ahead, continue.
How you milk them is, well, first of all, you have to make sure they have feet and stuff so they don't kick you. I've had him chase cows all over our yard before because the cow got away.
Yeah.
So you tie it up, get it some grain, and then mostly you'd have it in a stall or something. Then you get the bucket and, like, you take, like, if you're good at it, you can do almost like 2 at a time, but I could mostly only do like one stream and barely any at all.
What are you doing with your hand? One stream, like, what are you doing with that?
So the
Where
udder,
are you? Oh, the udder. Okay,
so
what's the udder? Where's the udder located at?
on the stomach.
On the stomach.
Yeah.
Between the front legs or the back legs?
The back legs, closer to the butt.
Oh, okay. Below the butt, between the back legs?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and then on it, there are like little things, maybe like the size of your thumbs, like 4 or 5 or 6, right? And then
4.
4.
Typically 4, sometimes 6, depending on if the cow has some, I don't know, there's
genetic modification.
If the cow's trans or not. Go ahead.
So, also sometimes another thing to milking a cow is if you have it scheduled, you always want to keep that schedule, because if you don't, like, the cow can get sick or like something could go wrong. So you want to keep your schedule when you usually milk. And ours was like about 8:30 in the morning and then maybe like 6:30 at night. Sometimes Mom was a little bit over, but not usually. And then, so you take 1 or 2 of the, what do you call them on the udder? I sometimes would call them thumbs because they look like thumbs.
They're teats.
They're teats. So you take 1 or 2 of the teats at a time and like squirt them really hard. Now, for me, my hands were not ready when I first tried because like I couldn't really like squeeze all the milk out, and usually I just got a little drop of milk or 2 from it. And sometimes, like when I watch Mom milk, she'd do this with the teats. Like, just pull on the udder and then keep doing that. And I was like, how in the world do you squeeze like that when I just do this and I barely get any milk? And then
There's a trick to that.
How?
You gotta funnel, like, pretend you're, you know what a funnel looks like?
Yeah.
Well, tip it upside down, kind of create your hands like that, and then when you go like this, it squeezes all the milk from the top down as you're gripping like this.
And also, I didn't want to pinch it. Like, accidentally.
Also pulling down. I got these big forearms from milking cows. When I was your age, I was milking probably 2 cows every morning and night.
What?
Uh-huh.
Also, I didn't want to squeeze too hard or accidentally hurt the cow by milking it when I was trying to milk. So I would not squeeze really hard, and then that's what made barely any milk come out. And once I had milk straight from the udder into the it wasn't refrigerated at all, and it did not taste good.
We used to dare each other to take teat and squirt it straight into our mouth.
Yeah. We did that a few times. Thank you, Trace, for explaining how to milk a cow. I'm sure a lot of people will appreciate that. There's a lot of people that that want to learn how to milk a cow, and maybe they're scared or they just don't even know how it's done.
Yeah.
But that's how you get your milk.
Yep.
That's how you get your milk, but you don't get the real good milk. You get the stuff after they take the good stuff out.
Yeah, after they strip it of all the proteins and natural, all the natural ingredients that your body needs, nutritions and proteins and vitamins that you get from milk. They strip all that stuff out to make it healthy and safe to drink.
What's that?
Are you able to milk female longhorns or no?
Yeah, you can literally take any cow, female cow, and turn it into a milk cow. Now
Our longhorn wasn't.
Yeah, no, because
Definitely not.
Because some cows, Holstein cows, are the best because their teeth are really big and long, so they're great for gripping your hands onto them.
Are they
and Jersey cows are not as good. The milk may be a little bit better, but their teeth are really small, so it's hard to milk those. That's what we had. Yeah, we had a Jersey. So
hers was really small.
Yeah, we say we had because we sold our cow, and for now anyway. And but yeah, if you've tried raw milk from a dairy and you didn't like it, I would recommend you make sure that it's cooled off first. That's the best. Get it refrigerated first. Yeah. And then drink it. And the first time, honestly, like, it may not taste very good because your taste buds are used to the store-bought stuff. But after a while, like, the cream is so rich in there, you wouldn't want to go back to the store-bought stuff.
Yeah. The only milk I don't like is almond milk. Like, I try that plain sometime when we don't have the usual dairy milk or milk we usually have in, like, it's not good. And also, why on those when I see those big dairy farms, when I see the cows, like, why do I only see, like, black and white spotted cows mostly?
That's typically the color of the that the Holsteins are, is black and white.
Oh.
Yeah, that's a Holstein cow. That's what a Holstein cow looks like, black and white.
I see big old dairy farms full of, like, maybe at least 10 black and white big old spotted cows.
Yeah. What do you want to tell the audience? Because we're about to wrap this up. What should they do?
Well, if you never milked a cow, I think you should try milking one.
And right after you do that, make sure you hit that subscribe button and like this video. All right, so you're doing a gun channel. We're going back onto the gun thing, but you're doing a gun channel, and you had a story that you wanted to share about a particular gun that you have.
Yeah. So I've been wanting to do the video, but I want to get somebody with a good camera to get like a high quality production video out of it. I already did a short video, or like a 2.5 minute or whatever video on it, just me shooting it, not really talking about it. But the gun I want to do the video on is the Mosin Nagant. That's a 1942. All part, if you're a gun collector, you know what I'm talking about. So all the parts are stamped, all the parts numbers are matching, and it's, I don't know, I've had people comment on the video saying, because I said it's an all original Mosin Nagant, and a lot of people are saying, oh, that's way too pretty to be an all original, it's probably refurbished, which they're saying by technical standards it would be an all original, because even if it was refurbished, it would have been done in Russia. by a Russian gunsmith. But really, the story I wanted to tell on it was when I was about 13. I remember getting a Farm and Fleet or Fleet Farm paper?
Fleet Farm, yeah.
Fleet Farm paper in the mail, and I think it was on the front page was a picture of this Mosin Nagant for like $90.
No way.
Yeah.
That's cheap.
Yeah. And I was like, man, that's a cool looking rifle. At the time, I had no clue it was an actual original. Like, I was like, there's no way to, when you're that young, you're like, oh, the World War I and II were so long ago. There's no way a gun survived that long. And so I talked Dad into buying it for me. And I remember coming home and I shot it a couple times and just basically put it away. And it sat in a gun safe for probably 10 plus years.
Oh, wow.
And then I moved to Ohio, and so let's see, that was probably 13, 14 when he bought that for me. So probably 10 years it sat in the gun safe, and then when I moved to Ohio and I kept forgetting to bring it along. Gun was in Minnesota in a gun safe, or in a gun cabinet, whatever. So, kept forgetting, and finally I did, and finally I brought it to Ohio, and it sat in my gun safe for probably 2 years after that, without being shot, and then, so finally I took it out to my coworkers, and we shot it, we had some fun with it, and then all this controversy started, and I was like, man, I wonder if that's an actual original Mosin Nagant. So I looked it up, or looked over all the stampings and stuff, and it was stamped 1942.
Oh, wow.
With the Russian, like, stamp, symbol, whatever, I don't know what they call that, the hammer with the half moon or whatever they call it.
Yeah.
And so it has the original stampings and everything. And take a guess at what that thing's worth right now.
I don't know. $1,000 maybe?
Not quite, but it's like...
Jeepers.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
But the reason it's so special to me is because it is the only gun that Dad gave me. And after he passed, I was very glad that I didn't shoot it more when I was younger, because I probably would have destroyed it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's, wow. That's probably the only gun that you ever got from Dad.
Yeah, it is. That's why it's so special to me.
Yeah.
That's why I really want to do like a high production video on it, but I gotta find somebody with a good camera to do it.
Yeah.
So.
That's a great story. I don't know that I think I got a tree stand from Dad, which I need to pick up. It's in Minnesota, but
I got one too. We both got a tree stand.
Did we get the same one?
Yeah, I don't know where mine's at, but
yeah, I know where mine's at.
Where?
I know exactly where it's at. Actually, I think Dan has it. Maybe he might have picked it up for me, but if not, I know it's at Shorty's. Because it was back there. But yeah, well, that's a great story. Thank you for sharing that, and thank you for coming on today's episode. And please leave your comments for John. And if you're into guns, check out his channel at Patriot Arms. And it's the one with the NASCAR?
No.
Yeah, that's me at number 4.
Why those two on her best to try to get that out. Thank you for trying. But it's the one that's got the eagle and the American flag, Patriot Arms logo. So check it out and subscribe to his channel. And we appreciate all of you guys tuning in to today's episode and all the support that you've shown us and the kind words that you guys have said. And we look forward to future videos that we're going to be putting out. Please, also those the comments that you guys have left about specific videos that we should make, super helpful, and we appreciate that. Continue to do that. If there's something that you would like for us to cover, it could be any topic. It doesn't need to be about the Amish, but if you have questions about the Amish, feel free to ask those as well. And thank you for watching the Amish Rebel, and we'll see you in the next episode.